This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Goodness, that's a walk and a half. That was Regina King's epic power walk at the Oscars last night in that jaw-dropping Louis Vuitton dress. Come on now. Welcome to DBL. It's Monday, April 26th. I'm Tori here with Lindsay and Al. Good to see you both.
What's going on?
Good to see everyone. Such a good walk, right?
She looked fierce. Every part of it was
everything.
good.
So let's talk about the Oscars, all right? There was a bunch of big changes, we know. It was shot like a movie. The speeches were much longer, and of course, there was a new venue. It was a train station in downtown Los Angeles. So I just want to get your overall impressions. What did you think worked? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Al, I love your suit.
But thank you.
Talk to me.
I dug it. You know, I know a lot of people have problems with just award shows in general. We're figuring it out as we are in this current, almost post-COVID world. And honestly, I know a lot of people disliked it, but I'm like, why don't we use this as incentive for people to get the vaccine? It's like, did you hate this? Okay, if everybody gets vaccinated, we all get together and have the real one. So overall, I'm grading everything on a COVID curve, so I dug it.
COVID curve, you liked it. Lynn?
I thought it was awesome because I like the creativity. I told you that Zoom is my least favorite thing. I'm not doing one more thing on Zoom. So this was like a good thing. And they actually been failing Zoom at some other award shows, or failing the technology. So this was a chance to actually see people in separate locations, and I really liked how they organized everything.
I hate to agree with all of you, but I thought it was the best award show of the Zoom world, right, of what we've seen. I thought when they introduced the people and told them little background information about, like, they saw E.T. or they ripped tickets in a movie theater, I thought that, like, made me cry.
I'm like, maybe just like everything with this current Zoom world and the post-Zoom COVID world that we're going to inherit, maybe we take one or two things from this award ceremony. Like every year we have a walk-in like that from just somebody. Right. I think that would look really cool.
Give us some more background info.
And I kind of like the movie kind of storyline because it makes you want to pay attention more and not leave and come back like, why are they showing this? Like, oh, you should have paid attention. So I think there's something to this.
There's something to this. All right, now we're not in the majority for a lot of you. A lot of you were slamming last night's awards for what appeared to be a huge snub. Now, in case you missed it, let me set it up for you. For the very first time ever, this was huge. The order of the awards were changed, and the last award of the night was for Best Actor. Now, a lot of people hoped, and really I thought for sure would, that Chadwick Boseman was going to win a posthumous award for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Now, his win would have ended the show with a really emotional speech by his widow, but instead, Anthony Hopkins won for The Father, and he wasn't even there. This morning, he posted one to Instagram. Take a look.
At 83 years of age, I did not expect to get this award. I really didn't. I want to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who was taken from us far too early. And again, thank you all very much. I really did not expect this. So I feel very privileged and honored. Thank you.
So that was a big wah-wah. I mean, it's not easy when you end the Oscars with Joaquin Phoenix say, we'll accept this award on his behalf. Bye.
Right, but he is 83 years old, so expecting him to come and be around anybody, even if it's one person, is a lot to ask. I know that he got to travel to maybe see some family, but it's like, how do you feel about them giving Chadwick Boseman the award if they genuinely didn't feel like he did a better performance than Anthony Hopkins? It's like weird because, of course, that's expected, right? He passed away, and his wife has been doing a beautiful job of representing him at all of these award shows, but it's like, are we going to continue to do this just because we have to, or is this actually who we feel like deserved the award? Because even my mom and I have a conversation that we think Chadwick Boseman had other movies that he should have been recognized for more than this movie that he's been recognized so much for, and maybe a lot of it contributed to him passing away.
Oh, that's really interesting. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, I look at, just what a terrible turn of events it was because we lost Chadwick and we lost Kobe within a couple months of each other. And I think about, as a diehard basketball fan, what if the NBA posthumously awarded Kobe the MVP for that season, even though it was his last season and he wasn't the MVP or anywhere close that season? Other seasons he was and he won. Would it have meant as much? Would that be almost disrespecting how they lived and how Kobe, because Kobe would not want that. He would not accept that. So just because we want something for our storybook ending doesn't mean that that's how it should have gone. And I looked at another actor in Anthony Hopkins paying tribute to a brother, somebody else that is an actor that knows what it's like to audition and fail and get roasted for a bad movie. And I feel like there's something, listen.
First day on the job, Al.
I don't know how to turn this stupid thing off.
No, you do it. It's 2021.
No, my girl put the tile on my keys so I won't lose them.
Well,
like
your ring is very 1991.
And it goes off all the time, and will somebody help me?
Wow. We all need help, but Al needs the most. A lot of people were also commenting that last night was the most woke Oscars ever. A lot of the presenters and award winners, including Regina King, the singer Her, and the filmmakers for Two Distant Strangers, brought up social justice issues, specifically police brutality and Derek Chauvin. Plus, there were a lot of historic firsts. Chloe Zhao became the first woman of color to win Best Director, and just the second woman ever to win the award. Catherine Bigelow won, of course, for Hurt Locker. That was for the movie Nomadland, which won Best Picture. Mia Neal and Jamaica Wilson became the first ever black stylist to win for Best Makeup and Styling for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And Ye Jung-Yoon became the second Asian woman and the first ever Korean to win an acting prize. She won Best Supporting Actor in Minari. So Oscars So White became a thing in 2015. Does this award show prove how far we've come, right? Does it feel like we've all gotten better? Is it tokenism? Does it feel out of touch? What did you guys feel? Linz?
I mean, I loved Mia Neal's speech about how she just said, you know, we're going to see transgender women, we're going to see Asian women, we're going to see indigenous people up here, and it's not going to be a surprise. It's not going to be unexpected. It's going to be normal. And that's the moment that I'm waiting for. I think that in order to get there, we have to have moments like this where we're not calling out the Oscars for the entire segment and they just do the right thing. And so I think there are people of color, of all colors, that are really doing great work. And so we recognize a lot of them yesterday, and I think that's the start. And hopefully it becomes something that's very normalized.
So you felt good about it? Mm-hmm.
Look, it's a start, like Lindsay said, and I don't want us to throw out, everything because things aren't moving at the pace that everybody would like them to. Like you said, it's from 2015 when that hashtag was trending. The reason it trended is because it had traction with people. It made sense to people. If I tried to send that out right now, it would get some, but it wouldn't get as much because I think we're all seeing that this is progressing. So I'm all for progress. I am a progressive, so I will take this in stride, and hopefully in 5 years, people won't even know what people were talking about when that hashtag was going on because we've come so far. So that's my goal.
Nice. And you know what else is progressive? That jacket. Coming up on DBL, more Oscars talk. Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier and Nichelle Turner join us to break down the night's biggest moments, and Tyler Perry gets mixed reviews. Why his speech meant to unify may have actually caused more division. We'll talk about that coming up. Y'all are already doing it on our feed. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
The Verify team is here to get you the facts by taking your questions to the vetted experts. And with a new administration, there's new talk about DC statehood, an idea that's been around for generations. So let's verify. With Democratic control in the House, the Senate, and the White House, is there a path to statehood with a simple majority? Our sources are the Senate rules, the Congressional Record, 51 for 51, an advocacy group, and Alan B. Morrison from the George Washington University Law School. Do you think this is a real thing that could happen now?
Yeah.
Morrison explains that in the Senate, you typically need 60 votes to pass a controversial bill. That's because of the filibuster. Any senator can demand a debate and essentially block a vote. Only 60 votes can stop the filibuster.
The Senate will be in order.
Then came this landmark vote in November 2013. Senate Democrats, led by Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, used the so-called nuclear option for the first time. This eliminated the filibuster and made it a simple majority vote for nominees in the executive and the judiciary, except for in the case of the Supreme Court. 4 years later, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell used the nuclear option yet again, this time for the Supreme Court, requiring just a simple majority for nominations.
And that would be the same for statehood. They could simply change the filibuster rule and say the filibuster rule does not apply to applications for new states. They could do that in a stroke of the pen.
So we could verify that yes, the Senate can change the rules to get rid of the filibuster, allowing statehood with just 51 votes. But the question is, will they try to make such a change? Even some Democrats have come forward and said publicly that they're against this type of rule change.
There's no question they have the power to do it. The question is, do they have the will and the votes?
With your Verify, this is Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. A lot of you were writing me about this moment last night at the Oscar Awards. That's got a lot of you talking. Tyler Perry was awarded a humanitarian award, and his acceptance speech called on everyone to, quote, refuse hate. Take a look.
How can I hate you when I had a mother who grew up in a Jim Crow South in Louisiana? My mother taught me to refuse hate. She taught me to refuse blanket judgment. And in this time, and with all of the internet and social media and algorithms and everything that wants us to think a certain way, the 24-hour news cycle, it is my hope that all of us would teach our kids, and not only to remember, just refuse hate.
But there was one part of his speech that did light up Twitter, and while mentioning a number of groups that have been disenfranchised, he also included the police. Here's what he said.
I refuse to hate someone because they are Mexican or because they are black or white or LGBTQ. I refuse to hate someone because they are a police officer. I refuse to hate someone because they are Asian.
One person on Twitter said police officers are not an oppressed group. No one hates the police because of undue prejudice. It's because they engage in state-sanctioned violence against all of the groups Tyler Perry said we shouldn't hate. I will admit, when he said police, it popped up. I was like, what? Because all the others were a marginalized group and the police are not. What did you guys think? How did you feel? Lindsay, what's your first thought?
Well, I love Tyler Perry. I think that his work and what he does for people speaks for himself. So that's why I hate to even bash him, because I think what his idea was that we're bringing people together, and I'm trying to create a moment where we should all come together and be fighting on the same side for this historic moment we are in history. But I think when you say stuff like Blue Lives Matter, you know, we're talking about disenfranchised groups versus police, and the problem is that blue lives have always mattered, right? And so the police have always been the group that was the oppressor to the oppressed. And so, you know, it's just kind of weird to say that we're putting them in the same group because, you know, police identity has trumped black people identity for years, or Asian people, or a lot of people that haven't been protected by these officers. So I think that's why people are frustrated with this tying it in, because it's not that simple. And that's why sometimes we hear police officers screaming out, Blue Lives Matter, like we know that, because a lot of times you guys are protected in ways that people of color are not.
Interesting take. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, and I mean, Blue Lives Matter is definitely, that was only created in opposition of Black Lives Matter. So we know what time it is when we hear that. I think we need to unpack this a little bit and understanding that both things can be true, because you look at, did Tyler Perry misspeak? And I don't want to speak for him misspeaking, but I believe he did. I think the list that he listed were people that were marginalized, and I think what he was trying to say, maybe in a ham-handed way, was I refuse to make a snap judgment about somebody if they're wearing a uniform. That did not come out well at all. I think he would say that. But for all the people coming at Tyler Perry on Twitter, I'd say, what do you think his Twitter looked like 10 years ago when he was being attacked for being a black man wearing a dress in movies, and how he was dragged, and how he did not let that deter him from us highlighting how he buys gifts for people every Christmas and goes in and takes the layaway list off at Kmart. So in life, I want to be judged the way I judge you guys, and how you guys sit in my life. It's like I look at the scale of good and bad. And is it going to be all this and all that? No, but I think there's a balance, and I think if anybody, Tyler Perry is weighing real heavy on the side of good. I
agree, and I thought the rest of the speech was absolutely fantastic. All right, let us know what you think, because y'all had a lot to say. We'll be right back.
New research suggests getting too little sleep can increase your risk of dementia. Let's connect the dots. The link between poor sleep and dementia is nothing new, but what was not clear was whether that lack of sleep was a symptom of cognitive decline or one of the causes. Now, a large new study suggests that people who don't get enough shut-eye in their 50s and 60s are more likely to develop dementia later in life. The study was published in the journal Nature. It followed nearly 8,000 people for decades. Researchers found that people who regularly reported getting 6 hours or less of sleep on weeknights were close to 30% more likely to be diagnosed with dementia nearly 3 decades later. That's compared to people who reported getting 7 hours or more a night. So how can you catch more Z's? While doctors say sleeping pills are an okay temporary solution, they don't give you the deep sleep needed. Also, naps are okay, but also a sign you are not getting the shut-eye you need at night. Instead, keep a regular sleep schedule, avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed, and keep the phone and screens out of the bedroom.
Last night marked the 93rd Academy Awards ceremony, and earlier, longtime friends of ours from Entertainment Tonight joined me, Jeff, and Al for a recap of the night's most memorable moments. Take a look. And joining us for a behind-the-scenes take is none other than friends of the show, Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier, and new co-host Mazel Tov, Nichelle Turner.
Congrats.
Welcome back, Kevin, and congratulations, Nichelle. Now, Kevin, this year's Academy Award was unlike any other, and I just want to know your overall impression. Did you love it? Did you hate it? It was very Steven Soderbergh. Talk to me.
We are hoping that this is the end. This is the last pandemic award show.
Please.
Please.
Seriously.
Because we need to get back to normal.
Right.
Y'all, get your vaccination, wear your mask. We want to get back to the red carpet.
We definitely do. I mean, you know, we love, it's the pageantry of it all is never lost on us, and especially that night at the Oscars. And so it did feel a little lackluster last night. However, may I say that when Regina King strutted on in there at the beginning, I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it. She was in that blue Louis Vuitton with the sequins,
with the
and she
shoulders.
was walking, honey. She was. Yes, let me see you walk, Regina. And then she almost took a tumble, but she recovered.
Right.
And then we had the show. Now there were some moments in the show, right?
Yes.
I mean, there were a few moments in there that captured our attention at least.
Well,
and,
you want to start with the end and work our way back?
Okay, well, let's start with the end.
Okay.
Because the end was something that was unexpected. They shuffled the deck, and they put the Best Actor award last instead of Best Picture.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that Chadwick Boseman was going to win that award. And when Joaquin Phoenix opened up the envelope and he said, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he said, Anthony Hopkins isn't here because Anthony Hopkins was in Wales.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya was amazing in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Best movie of the year in my estimation.
Amazing movie.
When he won the Oscar, he just kind of went right or left.
Listen, he gave us the moment. He had a passion speech. It was really great. He was so excited. And then he decided to talk about the birds and the bees.
Please watch. Just watch.
Like, it's incredible. My mom met my dad. They had sex. It's amazing. Like, do you understand? I'm here. You know what I mean? So, I'm so happy to be alive. So I'm going to celebrate that tonight.
Daniel, have you had a chance to talk to your mom yet? Has she texted you yet?
Bro. No, I'm going to avoid my phone for a bit, mate. Trust me. I'm going to avoid my phone for a bit. I think my mom's not going to be very happy.
What does this mean to you, and what...
I got to give him a question. Like, he didn't really have... let him have another one, man.
Thank you. Hey, have you had a... what does this mean to...
I can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me now?
He's muted. Can you unmute him? Kev, I tried, bro.
I appreciate
it. It's the enemy of progress, bro. I'm trying, bro.
That moment is the entire 2021 award season in one interview. That was it. That tells you everything you need to know.
Can you hear me now? Can't hear you, bro. Can you hear me now?
Let's talk a little about diversity. Yeah. Do you guys think it was represented yesterday? Because in the past, the Academy has been criticized. What'd you think of last night's show as far as diversity goes?
I thought what was important is not the big categories, but the smaller one. Live action, documentary, Trayvon Free, hair and makeup. You saw the first two African-American women to win in that category in history. 33% of the voting members are now women. 19% are underrepresented community. So it is changing slowly but surely.
Do you have a favorite moment of the night?
Oh, please tell us. Yeah.
Glenn Close didn't win an Oscar, but Glenn Close got an invitation to the barbecue. And that is because Glenn Close laid it all on the table. She gave a shout out to Sugar Bear, and she got up and did the butt. It was beautiful. Take a look at this moment.
I said, come in, big girl, let's rock my world. So that, okay, stop. That's not fair to Glenn Close. She don't know nothing about doing it. Wait a second. I know that's the butt. Do you know the dance, though? Do you know how to do the butt? Quest, turn up. Oh, I don't. Come on, let's see it. Let me see you do the butt. Let's see it.
Now, it was a skit. It was a skit that was planned, but they didn't plan the dancing. No. The dance was not planned. And I think that skit proved one thing that was very important. What, Nichelle Turner?
We need a host of the show.
I know what you mean.
They need to have a host.
I totally know what you mean. And at first I was like, wow, Glenn Close knows a lot about debut. And then I was like, wait, this is totally scripted. I totally agree with it.
I'm sorry, you guys. I have to push back on all four of y'all right now, okay? I never thought coming up, going to college in the mid-'90s, that I would hear DC Go-Go, EU, debut at the Oscars. Like, come on, guys. You have to be, like, I was just so happy to see this music be played. And also, Glenn Close, she definitely dated two black dudes in college. She did. It wasn't a long time. It was
Let
like
me say,
spring break.
As somebody who went to the Capitol Center to see EU and Rare Essence and Trouble Funk before back in the day, it just made me happy. I was giddy. I was giddy.
It was amazing.
Little Benny and the Masters.
Yes.
He said she dated not one, but two.
Two black.
Two, and she's invited to the cookout. Well, Kevin Frazier.
They're going to call her tonight. They called her tonight.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Kevin Frazier and Nichelle Turner, thank you so much for joining us today. And don't miss Kevin and Nichelle every night on Entertainment Tonight. Great friends of the show.
Guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We always love joining
We'll be right back. Bye, guys.
Joining you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
What do we know about the anti-COVID-19 drug Israel is developing? Our sources are the National Institutes of Health, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases specialist at Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Nayor Barzev, also an infectious diseases expert from Johns Hopkins University. First, our experts say you need to understand how COVID-19 makes people sick. The virus gets into the body.
Our immune response starts to fight the virus and then causes a lot of collateral damage.
This out-of-control immune response can damage organs, and in more than 500,000 cases here in the United States, it's caused death. Enter Israel's new drug with the catchy name XO-CD24, a treatment that patients would just inhale.
The concept here is that we're using an immune modulator to dampen down some of the T cells that are responsible for the cytokine storm that we sometimes see in severe disease.
In other words, the new treatment in theory would calm down the immune system.
So our own immune response does not injure our own lungs and other organ systems.
So where is this drug? Researchers in Israel just completed the phase 1 trial with good results. They tested on moderate and severe cases, but...
So I think it's too early to say anything certain about it, but it's encouraging that we have a product that potentially can reduce disease severity, and that is going to be making its way through rigorous trials and evaluation.
So how could this drug potentially come to the United States? Our experts say it follows the same path we saw the vaccines follow, the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 clinical trials, and if those prove to be successful, that data will be sent here to the FDA for review. With your Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back to DBL. There's so many benefits to exercise, including brain health. We're chatting about it in DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. Now, a new study shows older adults who are active have better cognitive health. That includes memory, learning, making everyday decisions. The study also found that anyone experiencing early stages of cognitive decline, like dementia, should actually be putting a focus on physical health. Staying active is so important, and QB has made it easy, regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-782-2351 or visit QB.com to learn more. We got some comments, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, Owen says the whole show is politically motivated. Interesting take from Facebook. Carrie says the best part of the show was Regina King's entrance. Was amazing. Kim said, I like what they were trying to do. The introductions of the nominees were much more meaningful, but it lacked humor and entertainment. I hate when they cut off the speeches, but many of these went on for too long. Yeah. I also thought there was no musical numbers, so that also kind of stops the entertainment of that. Barbara says Tyler Perry was speaking about hate, and there's definitely hate towards police officers. I didn't have a problem with what he said at all.
Good.
I thought when they say separate politics from these award shows, I get it, because sometimes you don't want to turn on the TV and watch about people talking about issues with society when you're watching entertainment. But it's like hard to separate the two because these are people living lives outside of what they do for work. So it's really hard not to talk about it.
I also have to say that when you talk about art, politics and all of that, I know this is going to sound a little nerdy, that's intertwined. If you don't know what art can do for politics and what it can do for change, art is included in that. And I don't think it's just because they're actors or sound engineers, they don't have a right to say what they want to say.
And also, our last president was a television game show host. So, you know.
Take it there.
He was a television personality. Ronald Reagan was an actor. Like, we can't act. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, all these people get into our hearts and minds because we look at them every day and we espouse to be like them. So you can't then say, like, we can't have that. We already have it.
We already do. Do you want your phone to ring one more time or no?
That was hurtful. Okay. I just want to find my keys so I can be on time.
DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.